Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to give our motion today. The motion is this House would ban political advertising on social network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. We, the Affirmative team, strongly support that this House would ban political advertising on social network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and etc. Which is political advertising is a special action designed to advertise political or election campaign with a joint policy carried out by politicians and campaign staff who are carried out deliberately, carefully, coordinate and then began to cater to distribution application using paid media, letters, news, radio, television, social media, and etc., so that the target audience can influence the results of the community. Well, continue to our team split. I'm Rensi Kumala as the first speaker. I will deliver my argument about why political advertising is prohibited and the negative impact on political advertising on YouTube and Twitter. Our second speaker, Bella Permata Ayu, will be talking about why political advertising is prohibited on Facebook, Google, and Instagram and the negative impact of these ads. And then our third speaker, Kevin Dair, will rebut and sum up our team case. Dear ladies and gentlemen, according to Diamond and Bates 1019 and 84, attack, the category of political advertising intentionally aimed at opponents becomes the image and opponents fall in the eyes of the public. Ads designed to impress about candidates who appear to be challenging, authoritative, broad-minded, and considerate. Assuming 90% of adults in the country watch television and using social media shows every day, police spot or politics spot can be one way to increase voter turnout in a short period. But not a few analysts believe that in general political advertising will never be able to turn an ordinary politician into an extraordinary candidate for charismatic leader. That is, the image and popularity can indeed be formed instantly through political advertising. But the charisma of a leader is not possible to be built only with a series of political adverts. Ladies and gentlemen, internet advertising is very powerful and very effective for commercial advertisers. But that power also carries danger for politics. Twitter founder Jack Dorsey said that political advertisements on the internet disrupt the whole citizenship discourse. These disorders include optimization of message based on machine algorithms, micro-targeting, misguiding information without verification, and deepfakes or sticking face to other people's video. Dorsey also denied that this policy would benefit those in office. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition, the government bans political advertising on social networking platforms so that no hoaxes or hoaxes about politics or negative views of candidates who want to become state leaders. The Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Kemkominfo, will block social media from ignoring campaign political advertisements during the election period. The Director General of Applications and Information, Samuel Pangerapan, said social media had a crucial role in the ban. The Ministry of Communication and Information, Kemkominfo, the Election Supervisory Body, Bawaslu, and the General Election Commission, KPU, have held meetings with Google, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Bigo Live, LiveMe, Quaigo, and the National Award Board, BPN. The results of the meeting decided to ban all political advertisements on social media. The results of the meeting also prohibit all uploads of status or content on social media conducted by social media accounts of election participants and campaign teams that have been registered with the KPU. However, the public is still allowed to speak on social media, but the public is prohibited from posting political advertisements on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, other things that are possible in political advertising, such as black propaganda, black campaigns, which are then based on rumors, can be issues, gossip, can be intimidated, can be persecuted, all of which are actually excess of the abundance of communication that occurs. Reflecting on the election in America in 2015, the data quoted by The Economist points to the fact that many Americans have accessed misinformation by Russia on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube channels. The Economist added that the political phenomenon became worse not only in America, but also in Spain and South Africa. The economists concluded the use of social media not only causes division in society, but also the spread of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we, the affirmative team, strongly support that this House would ban political advertising on social network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
We'll continue to our team split. I'm Sella Anisa. As the first negative speaker, I will deliver my argument that is ban political advertising on social network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, I disagree with the ban on political advertising on social networking platforms because the rise of traffic using social media is not new in Indonesia. Since experienced a boom in 2012, people's engagement with social media has increased. Social media, which was originally only used as a medium for socializing with friends and close relatives, is now beginning to penetrate communication between individuals and institutions. Seeing this phenomenon, political parties and candidates began to look at social media as a tool to interact with their constituents, include to promote their product. In fact, before the legislative election, political parties and began aggressively creating accounts to carry out campaigns against parties and their candidates. The power of social media to influence society is based exclusive on its social aspect. This means interaction and participation. A survey conducted by the Indonesian Internet Service Provider Association revealed that the number of the Internet users in Indonesia in 2012 reached 63 million people, or 24% of the country's total population. With the development of internet technology and many people in Indonesia using the internet and having social media such as Facebook, Twitter, blog, Instagram, and YouTube, it has become clear that online tools play an important role in shaping public opinions and setting political agenda. Since the 2014 election, social media has been seen as an effective tool colliding with ideas, including bringing down opposing opponent. The use of social media for that purpose is increasing. The advantage of social media is that the information delivered is personal directly to the user, has a wide reach. At the same time, the user segment tend to be diverse and do not require special event for user to enjoy the information provided. Even some of the information conveyed cannot be rectified or clarified. Reason for using social media in political campaigns. First, strength effect. This effort play an important role in creating communication and raising awareness in the mind of voters. But what happens to the message in this debate and campaign if just goes away? This is where social media plays its role, document, remind, and strengthen message to the public. The second, establish a personal connection. People want to be heard, while social media gives them room to voice their opinions directly to the one they are aiming for candidates. When a politician reaches an individual directly, then connection with the public and constituent become tighter than a handshake when campaign. 3. The available device now make it easy to deliver message. Advent in existing infrastructure and web and mobile application make it easier for user to access information while distributing message quickly and in bulk. And the last, the ability to respond. This is where the use of campaigns through social media, namely the fast and direct path to the public personally, on the basis of trust to respond to the crisis. Mastering public communication is one of the keys to winning competition in the political world, and currently one of the effective channels is social media. Political movement or activities using social media are now widely used by politicians in Indonesia. The nature of campaigns on social media can be the opposite of campaigns in the real world. If in the real world the campaign is so noisy, loud, but without a real evidence, on social media is the antithesis of the noise and which is meaningful. Every sound has meaning, has its own proof. Politics on social media can be true politics. That is politics that truly contains ideas and concrete action for the common good. This is politics that has the power to break down very social issues that are a burden on society often get a solution on social media. Social media can be a solution to minimize injustice. Social media can be a counterbalance to television broadcast media, which are no longer able to maintain their independence and fairness. Television is owned by businessmen who now enter various parties. This condition caused the television media to become the mouthpiece of the owner political party. Here comes the urgency of social media.
Good morning, judges. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I, as the second affirmative speaker, and before I present my argument, I will rebut the negative team. The first speaker of the opposition contended that politics in social media means interaction and participation that politics all parties used to exhibit. In my opinion, social media, if used for political advertising, then this will not only be an arena of interaction and participation. The fact is that in 2016 presidential election case, Facebook violated the rules that spread false political advertisement that increased Donald Trump points. Here, the choice of political advertising is not just for interaction but for the sake of one side interest. Where from the previous case will benefit Donald Trump but will harm the opponent in an unfair way. And then this political advertisement usually uses the micro-targeting method, where the political advertisement will load its content can be difficult to monitor because it will only spread to a handful of, and the spread of hoax news will occur more easily. And then moreover, supported by the number of internet user at this time. The spirit of political advertising that should not exist to spread. So here it is clear that political advertising is not just for the arena of interaction or participation, but with the evidence that I have said earlier that there are bad goals that will be spread if political advertising through social media is still being carried out. Ladies and gentlemen, our motion is this House will ban political advertising on social media network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and etc. So I really support it. Moreover, politics is a matter that is very susceptible to triggering false hoax news, which is later cause offense, defamation, and etc. Here, I will convey my main argument why political ads on Facebook and Google should be banned and what are the negative effects so they must be done. Politics is very susceptible to triggering false hoax news which will later cause a commotion, defamation, and etc. The first impact of political advertising on social media such as Google, Facebook, and Instagram is the spread of hoax news. The data recorded 62 hoax content related to politics or voting in 2019 identified by the Ministry of Communication and Information during August to December 2018. The most hoax was identified in December 2018. So, the head of Public Relations Bureau, Fernandez Setu, said that the result was based on search using the AIS machine by the Internet Counter Control Directorate. Following are some examples of hoax content in identified political advertising. First, Dian Sastro with hashtag replace president, and then the second Prabowo victory survey, and then the third statement of Sri Mulyani hating Jokowi before the general election, and then Indonesia Democracy Party requests all pesantren be closed in November 2018. President Jokowi later requested support from CEO to win the 2019 presidential election. Those are some examples of hoax content that is very disturbing citizen, defame, and also cause problems. Do not stop there. The perpetrators of the hoax are threatened with Article 28, Paragraph 1 ITE will be sentenced to a maximum 6-year jail and or pay maximum of 1 billion rupiah. That's only in 2018. What about now, where Indonesia's social media users have become the #1 smartphone user in Southeast Asia? So, it cannot be denied with the data above. If political efforts on social media are better avoided, they avoid the existence of hoax. Data states that in 2017, Internet users in Indonesia reached 143 million or more than half the population of Indonesia. This was not by Indonesian Internet Data Providers Association. So, the hoax will be better or will be more. And then ladies and gentlemen, on January 22 last, the head of Facebook Civil Society Relations, Samis Charabati, admit his ignorance to anticipate the Russian team. Then he also said that there are 5 ways social media can undermine democracy by political advertising. First is foreign interference. Chakrabarati writes that in 2016, the midst of America conditional politics ahead of the presidential election, Russia created a fake Facebook page to influence sentiment. Hoax can have fatal consequences. For example, a Muslim female politician in Australia was a victim of a hoax in 2017. Anna Ali is said to reject or lay a wreath of monument in the struggle, resulting in a lot of negative comments from netizens and MPS. And the next is ecospace. which is one of the most dangerous ways to threaten democracy, where echo space can make the public fragmented. On the social media, people will be given information that is in accordance with their trust views. He will be directed to join groups that share the same view, so they cannot see or hear the others' different information. And then the next is political harassment. Not infrequently, social media becomes a place to silence or be attacked. For example, the chairman of the CEM, Brouwer's University, who was recently considered traitor, even though the only expressed his aspiration as the student and represented the people. Or another example is the hate speech, which is used to attack people with different political choice. And the last is inequality. Those are just a few examples of how social media broke democracy by political advertising. And then political advertising on social media is in the spotlight, especially since the presidential election in America conducted in 2016. Facebook is considered neglected because instead of containing the fact, even political ads that smell like propaganda that appear on its newsfeed. And then wow, big, especially Cambridge Analytica, a British political firm, illegally used the personal data of nearly 50 million Facebook users to advertise propaganda content in Donald Trump. And then, even in April 2018, Facebook was beaten by 100 members of the U.S. Congress when Zuckerberg admitted that his platform was not right and profitable. Trump was his mistake. From this example, we can see that wrong political advertising can benefit groups that and harm others. From Facebook, ads alone can increase Trump's victory. From this big case, political advertisement on social media should be banned. Moreover, in view of the fact that Facebook still allows political advertising and eliminates validation of the content of political advertising, then it is very clear that political advertising through Facebook is misleading. From the mistakes recognized directly by Mark Zuckerberg and evidence of the effect of political advertising through Facebook, I strongly support if political advertising through social media is completely removed. And the next is Google. Google still allows political ads to run on its various platforms, but Google requires advertisers to verify their eligibility. But in fact, in the case of a Trump campaign of 100 political advertisements that were served, Google dropped 7 out of dozens of ads that violated their policies. And then from the statement I said earlier, from this example, it is clear that political advertising on Google must also be banned. Why? Because from the data alone, it is clear from dozens of the problematic advertisements that are revealed are only 7. This means that the truth of political advertising on Google is still problematic. There are still many mistakes that will harm some parties. Also, Google states that it has filtered out the truth of advertisement, but the reality is not. Now, we will prove from the evidence and negative effect of political advertising on Google and Facebook, it is indeed the right decision to ban political advertising on social media such as Facebook, Google, and etc.
Before I present my argument and rebuttal, I will be contending one more the definition of this debate. Our opposition proposed that political advertising on social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and etc. shouldn't be banned. Because social media is an online media where the user can easily participate, share, and create content including blogs, social networks, wikis, forums, and the virtual world. Another opinion says that social media is online media that supports social interaction and social media using web-based technology that turns communication into interactive dialogue. And in the current era of globalization, social media is very important for us to interact from one another online. Today's social media makes it easy for us to socialize and share information with others because social media today is not only interacting with others but it is used today as a means of selling online, ordering food, and a part of social media. Politicians are also used to promote party candidates by creating content and sharing track records and placing advertisement. And the average social media user today is a millennial generation in the age range of 17 until 29 years. In a day, can spend around 4 until 5 hours per day to use social media, and after the development of social media can be used as a tool to change the minds of young people, political parties. This is all because a young man can spend 5 until 5 hours a day using social media. But we associate with the general election. Currently, it cannot be separated from social media. There are limitations to traditional media. Not all print media can reach to remote areas. Radio and television have important impacts on politics because they are easily digested by the wider community, while social media can be controlled by consumers. And I see that the second speaker from Affirmative team said that campaign through social media is not good. And now I'm Ferdy Octavian from the second speaker of Negative team will deliver my argument of how campaigning through social media is good and have a lot of advantage. So the power of social media and websites for people who focus on their social areas, this means interaction and participation that can be done through campaigns. Campaign on translation is the delivery of message from the sender to the public by developing internet technology. Many people in Indonesia use the internet and have social media such as Facebook, Twitter, blogs, and YouTube. Indonesia is ordering 8 worldwide. Typical social media network services can share content, web communities, and internet social media forums from different tools and communities. The use of social media must be planned, communicated, and programmed to increase the party's credibility. Organizational communication is an important consideration for ensuring sufficient interaction in social media platforms. It can be concluded that social media has played and will continue to play an important role in the political campaign. As far as the future use of social media through platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, political candidates will continue to interact with supporters and receive support in the form of donation and volunteers, as one of the website below, which is Paslon Prabowo Subianto President 2019. In political activities, each candidate and political party tries various efforts to obtain support in achieving its political goals. For this reason, communication and information are needed. Social media as a means of information that is very much utilized by the public today. According to social media, there are 4 benefits for political activities of a party or candidate, namely as information, service, access to political power and space, information service, access to political, and Dobler Hager in 2014. In online campaigning, social media in the 2010 Niagara Multiple election said social media can contribute to political success. This is because social media allows candidates in an election to interact with potential voters with a scale and intensity that cannot be achieved through traditional campaign patterns such as door-to-door campaign, brochures, and even coverage by print and television media. In addition, the cost of social media campaigns is also much cheaper because there are no costs directly associated with social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Social media is also superior because it gives the opportunity for prospective voters to have a two-way dialogue with the candidate. Unlike traditional campaign models that tend to be unidirectional from candidate to candidate voter. The nature of political communication between candidates and voter candidates can be multidirectional, such as from candidate to voter, voter to candidate, or between voters. This multidirectional communication capital, according to Tacente 2015 in the electoral campaign through social media. A case study 2014 presidential election in Romania became one of the assets for candidates to be able to win votes in the election. Tacente argued the opportunity for social media support to be a vote in the election is greater if there is active involvement or participation of prospective voters. This active participation does not have to take place in the candidate's social media accounts. It could be that the candidate's supporters disseminate campaign material from the candidate's account, but with a personalized message that provokes conversation with his friends in cyberspace. In other words, activeness is more important than the number of people who become followers on social media account. Tacente also said that support in cyberspace does not stand alone. Not always the success of campaigns on social media automatically makes candidates win an election. Campaigns on social media must also be followed by triangulation of campaign methods. This means that intense social media campaigns must also be followed by face-to-face campaign or other forms of traditional campaign. This is because research in several countries also shows that large campaign capital actually dominates the level of electability rather than social media. Definition and form of social media as user-generated content created or produced by the general public rather than by paid professional and mainly distributed on the internet. Compass.com 2013. Social media as participatory online media where news, photos, videos, and podcasts are made available through social media websites through submission and is usually accompanied by a voting process to make true media item more popular. Social media with its characteristics are marked by the footprint of the content they leave on social media sites and also with the voting process that represents the perception of certain content users. Social media is a new information network and information technology using a form of communication using interactive and user-produced content, and interpersonal relationships are created and maintained. Typical social media network services can share content, web communities, and internet forums. And the chairperson of KPU of Ogan Komering Ulu Regency, South Sumatra, Naning Wijaya said legislative candidates participating in the 2019 election in the region may carry out campaign on social media. According to him, the campaign on social media was carried out by the candidates in order to get the support of votes from the public during the upcoming 2019 election. Every candidate can campaign for his vision and mission to move forward in the 2019 election in social media, such as through Facebook account, Nanning said, as reported by Antara on Thursday. She explained, based on PKPU number 23 of 2018 concerning the 2019 election campaign, state that if a candidate should campaign through social media since September 23 until before the election. However, Nanning said the candidate's account must be registered with the KPU of Oku so that it can be used to campaign to seek public support, especially from the cyber friends. Every candidate or party must register their social media accounts be it Facebook, Instagram, or any from of account on social media for campaigns, he said. Nanning asserted every account that was not registered in the KPU posting or being used for the campaign of a candidate was a form of violation. If her husband is a legislative candidate, his wife or family participant in the social media campaign which is not registered with the KPU is included in the violation, Nanning said. And now in here I will mention some benefits of social media in affecting the campaigning through it. Reason for using social media in political campaigns. First one is strengthening affect. One of the first steps in planning political communication is to identify the main message of the campaign. This message is then conveyed through offline and digital channels such as print media, door-to-door, and town hall meetings and debates on television. These efforts play an important role in creating communication and raising awareness in the minds of voters. But what happens to the message in this debate and campaign if it just goes away? This is where social media plays its role. Document, remind, and strengthen message to the public. And the second is establish a personal connection to many people at one time. Cory Booker, mayor of Newark, New Jersey, population 280,000, has more than 1.1 million followers on Twitter. His figure is known to be ambitious in utilizing social network. This mayor has successfully established personal connection with tens of thousands of people. Although not all candidates are able to utilize social media widely, Booker's success story illustrates one of Twitter's and Facebook's most powerful features, which is quick access to several targets as well as campaign media. People want to be heard, while social media gives them space to voice their opinions directly to those they are aiming for. The public also wants to share things that are meaningful to them, as well as patterns to influence opinions, and again with social media, all these things became possible. And when a political research the individual directly, the connection with the public and constituents becomes tighter than handshake when campaigning. And then the third advantage is the available device now make it easy to deliver message. When social media was relatively new, the time needed to design, manage, design, and distribute message content was a huge burden. For most campaigns that lack labor, this challenge is very heavy. Advance in existing infrastructure and web and mobile application make it easier for users to access information while distributing message quickly and in bulk. The user only has to choose the device system and the application format that suits their needs, targets, and campaign budget. And the fourth advantage, build the ability to respond crisis can emerge at the end of the campaign period. Suddenly, a negative issue circulates which attacks and certainly has the potential to reduce the level of electability. In this situation, the presence of social media is increasingly needed. In time of crisis, it is very important to use the communication channels that have been established so that the bias can act, respond quickly and effectively. Therefore, building connection through social media is not started after the crisis, but beforehand. Having strong relationships that have been previously established can have a major impact on public perception and potentially minimize negative effects. This is where the use of campaign through social media, namely the fast and direct path to the public personally, on the basis of trust to respond to the crisis. And the last advantage, not just for communication, when people think of social media, they usually think of it as a mere communication tool. True, there are many valuable things from the use of social media, more than just broadcasting message and engaging directly with people. Research through social media produces large amount of data and information every day. When the campaign team able to gather a lot of information from the public, then is able to study it well. It will produce a map and strategy program that can be used as valuable campaign material. My advice about it is, so if you are good at using social media wisely, it will help in socializing and winning public votes. So that's all from me. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace upon us. My name is Captain Dair from the Affirmative speaker that agree the government must ban the cyber campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, first we must know what politics is. Politics is the process of formation and distribution of power in society, which among other things takes the form of decision-making process, especially in the state. Criticizing government is also politics that is in the opposition side. We are living in the democratic country, of course. Expression and opinion, that's a part of democracy. If the government doesn't want to criticize, if criticize will be silent, it is a communist ideology, because we are already living in a modern world. Social media is the wrong way for cyber campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, advertising on social media often uses the micro-targeting method, which utilize user data to precisely target niches. This method is considered prone to invasion of privacy and prone to spreading hoax. Ahead of the US 2020 election, Facebook was heavily criticized when its platform spread Trump's political advertisement, which proved to contain hoax. Moreover, Facebook was also questioned when Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm, was proven to steal Facebook user data to win Trump in 2016 US presidential election. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of parties who carry out campaigns through social media, of course, have a minimal capital, but it violates the privacy and code of ethics. Not only social media, but television too. Television must stop siding with a party group and start neutral towards politics. Because where else will we get news, reliable news, apart from social media and television? Then instead, television must be neutral and not deliver false news that exists. As we know, there are many buzzer accounts that lead us to communist ideology. I will not talk much about it. I'm afraid I will disappear. We must support that the cyber campaign must be abolished, and the government must be firm and not be a puppet of the party. And the government must also to be firm in making decisions to completely cross communism in Indonesia. I often see on Twitter that many communists who compare their campaigns through the tweet will change the mindset of the people of Indonesia. And of course, this is very dangerous for our country, which holds a democratic system. Ladies and gentlemen, let us together deny the existence of communism and and let's support government to stop cyber campaign. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Gina from Negative Speaker. And then I will give my opinion or give my statement in this topic. Okay, so politics is the process of forming and sharing power in a society, which, among others, isn't the form of a decision-making process, especially in the state. And then politics is one of the important fields in state life. Politics can be very beneficial because it accommodates the interest of many people. However, many also say politics is a dark and cruel word. This is because politics is carried out by people who have dirty ambitions and pursue personal gains, so that not a few people who become less respect for politics. Third, politics can bring progress and prosperity to the people if done correctly. Benefits of political purpose. Okay, and this have a benefits and also political purpose. The purpose of politics is carried out with a specific purpose. The general political objectives are as follows. Next, so that power in the community and the government is obtained, managed, and implemented in accordance with legal norms. Next, creating power in a society or a democratic government. Next, helping the implementations of government and community power, which refers to the principle of the Unitary Republic of Indonesia. Welfare for all Indonesian people. Next, protect the rights of all Indonesian citizens and ensure the implementation of the obligations of citizens. Next, maintains a balanced social life for the progress of the nation. Okay, next, have political benefits. The political benefits for a state is that it can facilitate the country's goals for the welfare of its people. Besides, politics also accommodates the interest of all parties when the government makes policy. While political benefits for the people are not of the tools to convey criticisms and opinions to the government and the state. By mastering politics, citizens also understand the state rules. In addition, the political benefit for citizens is to improve negotiation skills. Negotiations are needed to make an offer that is sustainably more attractive than the others. In addition, politics is also taught how to empathize with the community without discrimination, so that welfare no longer deviates and differences no longer look more prominent. From example of the objectives and benefits of politics itself, we can conclude that there are many benefits from politics. In this increasingly advanced era, politics has an increasingly important role in the state, with increasingly involving technology making it easier for political actors to market their political advertising, like through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, and ever WhatsApp. It cannot be denied that political advertisements will continue to appear each year with different packaging. Sometimes differences in opinion become one of the triggers for a misunderstanding among citizens about politics. Okay, next. I agree if political put their ads on social media or social networks and internet. like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and others, because we know that politics is one of the processes that shape the integrity of a nation. Through social networking, citizens can more easily understand and contribute to politics. They can make their choice well. Existing advertisement will make information about politics easier to access. And also, the community can get close and know who will be their leader going forward. Okay, so I think enough for my opinion. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가